Hello, I am Haven. This is my map KOTH Lumberquarry for TF2. So the general theme for this is that it's a lumber town at the foot of a mountain that has since been taken over due to a discovery in the quarry mines. So the central idea for the map is that there is a giant dividing wall between the two main lanes, and residing in the middle of that wall is the capture point itself. This means that the capture point is in both lanes at once, which creates a unique gameplay opportunity. This creates a unique experience for the KOTH game mode, as the point is almost entirely encouraging horizontal close quarters combat, whereas the standard KOTH game mode will usually have more vertical and further away combat experiences. To give the players a clear idea on where the capture point is, it has also been marked with a caution tape texture on the boundaries. The map itself is rectangular, with the playable routes in the map being very non-direct and almost wiggly, as one could say. The spawns of the map are inspired by CP Gravel Pit, in that there is technically only one exit, but it comes out into a courtyard that has its own three exits, which are protected by spawn barriers. There is a building in the middle of the map which is themed as a bank, and this gives a covered flank for both teams. However, it does break up the sightlines within the building itself using pillars, a big one in the middle and two small ones in each of the side rooms. There are two main lanes, which each have two branching flank paths on them. One lane is set on the outside of the mountain, which is all the buildings and the lumber town, and then one inside, which is all about the mining equipment and the discovery made inside. Next to the point is this massive container crate which teams can get on, which provides amazing high ground. And there are stairs for super easy access. However, those stairs are really hard to get onto if you do not have complete control of the point, because they are directly in the line of fire. However, if one did want to get the high ground, they could always take the boxes which are further out of the way and keep you out of direct line of sight, but they take longer to get up. In the cavern lane, on each team's side, there is a ledge that is very good high ground, and is usually accessed by the teams earlier on via a ramp. However, if you did want to use that as an enemy per se, you could use a soldier's rocket jump, scout's double jump, or other movement tech to take that high ground for yourself against the enemy, which provides a massive boon in team fights. On the outside lane of the map, next to the point, there is a pile of logs and a tree which you can play around for high ground. There is also a much higher ground, which provides amazing sniping spots. However, you are blocked by the mountain wall immediately next to you, so you cannot get picks on people who are inside the cavern. The building by the point, which I call Point House, is the first line of defense for a team. This is enforced by the one-way door, which makes it really easy to attack, but defending you have to go the whole way round. It also has a nice sniper perch, which, as I've described previously, is really good for picking off people on point, though it can't go beyond that at all. But it's also the closest place to have health and ammo. So if you need to recuperate, then you can't do that immediately because of the one-way door. You either need to communicate with your team or get health and ammo that's further away, which puts you at more of a risk. Behind Point House is what I've dubbed Team House. It's the biggest one on the map. It has multiple doorways that go onto flanks, onto main routes, onto spawns. It's a real big bunker for the teams. There is also an upstairs that goes inside the house, which has a nice sniper perch, so you can defend your team on there. There is also a drop down in that room, so you can quickly run away if you're getting attacked back to spawn. And there is also an outdoors upstairs, which you can get to, which provides a lot of cover to hide behind, but is also a great spot to put a sentry. Team House also has health and ammo, so if the team gets pushed back, it is a great place to bunker down to rebuild your defences. By each team's spawn is a house that I dub Spawn House, because of simplicity's purpose. It is a great spot for snipers to defend their two spawn entrances with, however they do completely blind themselves to what's coming from behind them. There is also a spawn exit that goes straight into this house, so that means that if an enemy sniper gets into that position, then it's a great way to get on their flank and get them. It also leads directly onto the flank, so if you're a scout or spy, it makes it super easy to attack people. When meshing out the map, it was very important to kind of play into the themes of the map that are already present, namely the mining aspect and the lumber aspect. So that's why when you're around the map, you can find various pieces of equipment that play into the mining theme or that play into the lumber theme. Or you can find like chop down trees, you can find tree stumps. There's just so much that plays into the themes of lumber and mining. When meshing out the spawns, I went for a vibe of like, what do the teams do when they're not fighting? And this is shown through stuff that's been left around it. There's a water cooler that they may gather at and talk. There's a dumbbell for maybe heavy to lift. There's a foot spray because soldier wears a lot of heavy boots. But also alongside it, this is where they plan their attacks, which is why you can see like a big chalkboard, and beside it they have signs saying "Kill the other team," that kind of thing. Meshing isn't purely a cosmetic thing though. Meshing is important for guiding the players into which direction they should be going. So in the spawn courtyards there are these big like lampposts that show arrow signs and that they point to all three of the exits so that the players have an idea of how to get out of spawn even if they know nothing about the game. Another thing to consider when meshing out the level is how geometry is going to change. An important one is how do you block sightlines, how do you give people cover to hide behind. That's particularly important for sentries and snipers, because obviously those are the long range or insta-hit classes. So, boxes are a good thing to put down, piles of wood, because it's a lumber. Like, you got it playing into the theme is also important here. But also, you might put down stuff that plays into the fact that this is now a war zone. This is where people are fighting with guns and stuff. So there are gun cases around, there are maps for planning, like that kind of thing. It's also key that for the different rooms in the map, they each were meshed to be their own thing. So like upstairs in Blue's team house, that's dedicated as a crate storage area, whereas on Red Team it's a wood storage area, which does slightly change how they're looking, which inherently creates a differentiation in players' minds, which helps them identify the different areas of a map. Another one is that the main room of Team House on each team's has planning to it, but they're different. Like one has a saw in it, even though it's inactive, whilst the other has mining equipment. It's key to identify the differences using meshing. Meshing out the cavern area is an important part as well, not just the rooms, because you need to show signs of life, you need to show signs of why they're there. So that's why there are trains there, because they're the ones that pull the mining equipment. There's the big crate, because that's where they've got the Yeti stored. You've got boxes for storage, you've got mining equipment around. All of this is super important, rocks included, because you want to make this feel like a natural place, which I've tried by adding meshes of rocks. Meshing was also a big part of creating the dividing mountain wall that the level is themed around, because without it, it would have been brushes or displacements, but with the meshing it looks so much more natural and like a mountain wall. As a little gameplay non-mesh related addition to the end of this video, the death pit is a part of the map. It's tucked away and it's not super important to the general gameplay, but next to it is a full health, full ammo restore point. So it's about that risk reward, because you very easily could go grab it and get all your health back and you'll be ready for the team fight. However, there could be a pyro, there could be a soldier, there could be a heavy. Someone with that level of knockback could see you going for it and go after you, because they can easily then push you off into the death pit and kill you. It's that big risk reward that I think really adds to the death pit